Hello investors and traders, and welcome to this episode of Technical Tuesday, where today I'm going to be focusing on the 1% rule for managing risk. This is a rule that I came up with in 1988, which was the year after the crash of 1987. Back then I suffered a catastrophic loss that wiped me out entirely. My account went to zero very, very quickly because I was trading commodities. And you could lose actually more than what you have in your account because it's extremely leveraged. Now, since developing this rule in 1988, I have not had a losing year since. Now, don't get me wrong, I've lost on individual positions, but I limit my losses to a very small amount, and I vowed that I would never let the market do that to me again. So if you paid attention in math class, you're going to get this. I'm absolutely sure of it. And it starts off with calculating the risk amount. The risk amount equals 1% value of your trading account. So if you're trading with a $50,000 account, then your risk amount is going to be $500. I'm just using this as an example. If you're trading with a $100,000 account, then your risk amount is going to be $1,000. So that's part one of the formula, is calculating your risk amount. Part two is very simple. You take the buy price or your purchase price of the stock and you subtract the stop price. That gives you the risk per share. And then you take those two values and use them to determine what the size of your position would be. This is the number of shares you get to buy. So you take 1% value of your account. Again, this is the risk amount. Divide that by the risk per share, and that's going to give you the number of shares in sizing the position. So let's use a couple of examples here. I'm going to use two examples, first of which is one of my favorites to trade, and that's SLV. So let's say you buy that at $34.37, and you decide you want to put a $3 stop below the market. That means that your stop or your price alert is going to be placed at 31.42 or 31.38, depending on where you're buying that. It doesn't matter. Your risk per share is going to be $3. So let's come up with the size of the position. Remember, if you're trading with a $100,000 account, I'm just using that as an example, your risk amount is going to be $1,000. If you take the $1,000 or the 1% value of your account, you divide that by 3, you're going to come up with 333 shares that you would buy. Now, a little tip here, I don't like to trade odd lots, so I'll round down or round up depending on how many shares that is with regard to the rounding. So in this instance, I would buy 300 shares of SLV. If the stock drops down by $3, I will only lose 1% of the value of my account. Remember, the 1% has nothing to do with the share price. This is not what Bill O'Neill has taught over the years, and I give him full credit for introducing risk management to his readers through Investor Business Daily. But this has nothing to do with the share price. It has everything to do with your account value. All right, let's do another example here in Mara. All right, this ticker symbol MARA, Mara Holdings, Inc. Let's say that you want to buy the stock and you buy it at $15.64. You look to the left and you say, you know what? There's good support level down here around 15. So I want to put my stop somewhere below support. So I'm going to put $1 risk per share. Well, again, doing the math, again, very easy. If you have a $100,000 account, then your risk amount is going to be $1,000. Divide that by your risk per share, which is 1, and you get to buy 1,000 shares of the stock. Now, let me just show you one little thing here. If you want to lower your stop to $2, you can do that. Obviously, that's up to you. You want to put it $3. Again, you want to put it way below here at $5. That's okay too. It does not matter, because the only thing that would change at that particular point in time, if your risk per share is a greater number, then all that means is that you would be buying less shares. Another thing I like to do is I use price alerts on the Thinkorswim platform. Right click and you could put an alert here based on price. So if I buy the stock at 1567 and I want to put a stop somewhere below that support, let's say 1467, just giving you an example here. I type in 1467. At that point, if the stock closes below that level, that's how I like to do it. Everyone's a little bit different, but the stock would have to close or look like it's closing below that support level. For me, it gives me a little bit more flexibility because it could drop below that line, but let's say it doesn't close below that line. A lot of times you'll see hammer candles that will look like that. And so hammer candles are very bullish. So I don't want to be selling out of my position when I see a bullish hammer such as that. And so I do a little bit different. I use price alerts instead of stop loss orders. Another reason, and I used to be a NASDAQ market maker, so I know this, market makers know exactly where the stops are. And a lot of times they'll try to run those stops, particularly traders who will try to run a stock below a support level, and they'll trigger all of those stop loss orders and then cover that position. And what happens? The stock bounces after they've made money on the way down. We'll talk more about that in another Technical Tuesday video. But these are educational videos that we put out every Tuesday. If you have questions about that or any other topic, you could send us a chat message on our live midweek report, which is every Wednesday at the close of the market. And we'll take different ticker symbols, we'll take questions, and we'll do our best to help you out. So thank you so much for joining us. Please remember to hit that like button. If you like the content and you find it to be valuable, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified every time a new video comes out so you won't miss a beat. All right, thanks again. I'll talk to you in the next video. So long.